The Morgan Report with David Morgan.
David Morgan with you, and there is no weekly perspective this week. I am in London, so I'm doing this early, and I just want to get this in front of everybody I possibly can. Been doing a campaign on subject line saying, forget silver, buy this instead. And it's a very interesting situation. I talked about what's happened in this sector, and one of the first speeches I ever gave was over in the Silver Valley at the Society of Mining Engineers, and this old miner came up to me and said he'd made far more money in the paper silver market and the gold market than he ever had in the physical market. And of course, what he's referring to is the mining sector. We certainly all have our stories if we've been involved in this sector for any length of time. But I go on to talk about how lucrative the situation is and the potential. And the potential is that this company just started trading for U.S. investors in early June. And this will be shown probably the first weekend of July. So it's only been available. And based on the trading on this stock, it's obvious that we are the only ones that are aware of this situation at the present time, which means the volumes are still very low. And that is volatility, which means it can move the stock up and down. We do have a buy limit. It's only touched it once. It's backed off. I think if you wanted a big position, which we don't emphasize, we emphasize actually bet a little to win a lot. But if you wanted a let's say, normally sized position that was big relative to everyone else, you would want to accumulate it. I think the real story is in this picture. What you're looking at is, the kind of gold grades from a good gold mine would be represented here, whereas a ton of electronic waste, depending on the kind that it is, can be extremely lucrative relative on a per ton basis. I do want to say that there was somebody that found our report and put up some, I'd say, fairly objective information. They don't have all the information. They do not subscribe, and they were basing it on a PC board, a printed circuit board. And based on that, it's very lucrative. But that is kind of the low end of what's available in the electronic waste sector. There's things such as ram fingers that are extremely full of gold on a per ton basis. Anyway, this is available. We are not going to give it out to the free list yet because this is what people pay us for, to find situations like this and others, help them build wealth, which is our primary purpose. And that's done through large companies that are lucrative, regardless of the price fluctuations in the precious metals and other resource situations. Royalty companies, streaming companies are what we favor most of the time. Those that know our work know that. Also some mid-tiers with good growth potential and great management. Regardless, we do speculate from time to time. This one is available. I want to make sure everybody at least has the opportunity to think about it, because there will be a point in time when there will be a massive email campaign. And of course, those will be done by the what I call the newsletter machine, which are about 3 top tier ad copy companies that just basically put out information every day to people in the resource sector, and every ad copy is written to a level that gets people extremely excited. So once they discover this technology, will not be able to overlook it. It's that big of a game changer. They, of course, will be stating more than likely that they discovered it, they're the first, and on it goes. But what it will do is it'll get a lot more investors into this particular company. And then, of course, the stock will move up significantly in price. And this technology, again, is so significant that the others will not be able to avoid telling the story. Otherwise, they'll look like they're not following the sector. And this will almost certainly leave a lot of opportunity to those that got in earlier. So that's it. I will be back the following week with the normal weekly perspective.